I say to me, you don't think you're smart enough. You're afraid to be smart in front of them.
Willie D Live.
Like, why would you do that? I just, you know what I mean? It's your movie, and you're telling me I'm minding my business, and you tell me, hey man, I got this film. I go, oh cool, and that shit, it hurts you a little bit. Like, damn, I would have liked to have been in that movie. That, if I would have auditioned and didn't get it, that's cool. I didn't get it, not a big deal. But that was like, you came to me. The source came to me.
Brought the opportunity.
And I was like, should I go for it? Okay, let me go. And then I go and read your script for you. And I put my time in to read the script. It's no different than being rejected. I got rejected. They say, why aren't you on SNL? Well, I got rejected 3 times in SNL. The first time I did an audition for SNL was like, it was me, it was Tracy Morgan, Jimmy Fallon, all of us, Kevin J, all of us. Everybody's auditioning.
So, how in the hell does somebody as good as you, especially with impressions,
I don't know,
and how do they not take advantage of that? Like,
they don't like niggas, goddammit.
You're like
suck my
dick. Man, you like it's almost like getting 10 for 1 or something, 20 for 1. Like, you got all of that. It's just man, let me ask you something. If you were to do comedy in any other era, what would it be and why?
I would do it in the 80s. The 80s would be good. 80s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and why?
Because comedy was so, like, comedy was not new, but it was so refreshing to be yourself and to break barriers. That's what Pryor did. Pryor broke barriers, because Richard Pryor was trying to be Cosby for a while, trying to be clean, and just like Cosby, he was different. He was clean, he was smart, intelligent, good looking, blah, blah. Pryor was like, I want to be like him. But then Pryor said, fuck that. I was raised, my mother was a hoe. My father was a pimp. I grew up around pimps and hustlers in Peoria, Illinois. And then he became the crazy nigga. April 29th, 1971, Live and Smoking. He's at the Improv in New York, finally talking about his drug dealing mama, his hoe, because have you ever seen Live and Smoking?
I'm not sure.
And he's bombing, but it's like, this is the Pryor that he was becoming. This is 1971, April 29, 1971, Live and Smoking, and Richard Pryor's going, yeah, the only time I saw white people was when they came to fuck my mother.
Huh.
Oh, well, it's like this. Is your mother home? I'll check to see. We want to get our dick sucked. Okay, hold on. It was... it was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And that's why the 70s was like, because, you're coming from the 60s and the Vietnam War and free love and, all that, everybody was rebellious. So that would have been cool, experimental type shit to see Richard Pryor saying nigga in front of white audiences going, say, nigga, you suck my dick, goddamn. People were like fucked up with that. And then in 1979,
he was saying some other words too. Like he would say cracker and pickle.
Yeah, he'd be like this. Oh, you act like you ain't never fucked a faggot.
Yeah.
Right? You ain't never fucked no faggot. He was saying this shit, and it was mind-blowing. And then there was Carlin, George Carlin. Him and Carlin were two kind of dudes. He's a white dude speaking to power. Because Carlin tried to be the hippy dippy weatherman, and him and Pryor used to do TV shows together where they were all safe. Pryor was like, fuck that. George Carlin was like, I can't stand the system.
Yeah.
And that's when all that...
That's when we got the best of both of them guys.
And George Carlin would be like, Earth Day.
Man, George Carlin, come on, man.
And
damn.
And George Carlin, I saw him live.
Man.
And I'm a Carlinite and I'm a Pryorite.
Oh, yeah.
And George Carlin, I got to see him live.
Comedy, man.
And Carlin... And Carlin became rebellious because he grew up in Harlem. And Carlin said it. He said, I stopped hanging around the white guys in Harlem because all they talked about was who they hated. And I would hang out with the Puerto Rican and black guys. That's all I did. I got all my comedy from the Puerto Rican black guys because black people were so much freer and they were accepted. It was weird. They were accepting. They were going through all this shit, but they accepted you if your character was right. So that's why when you watch Carlin, you go, he hung around. You could tell he hung around motherfuckers. Yeah. That's when he said, fuck this. I'm growing my hair out. I'm going to talk that real shit. And Carlin is speaking to white people about themselves.
Yeah.
Earth Day. Fucking Earth Day? You think a bunch of plastic bags are gonna save this planet? Fuck you. You know what I mean? I eat, drink, and sleep Carlin and Pryor and Joan Rivers and Don Rickles and Rodney Dangerfield. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would have loved to, that comedy around that, late 60s, 70s. Ooh, experimentation. Lenny Bruce, who was arrested with George Carlin. I know my comedy history.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't like is when comics don't know their fucking comedy history. You ask them questions about comedy, and they don't know shit. They just know about talking about your mama and shit. Don't even know the history of talking about your mama.
But that's just like the rappers who don't know their history. They're not going to be around long.
No, they're done.
I've always noticed that the ones who know their history, the ones who respect the ones who came before them, they always seem to have longevity. I mean, they have good, long careers.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, they know. He knows. J. Cole.
Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. There's a difference. When you know, you cannot.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne is fire. Yeah. And you can't move ahead without knowing you just can't, it's in anything. Okay, when you walk into a doctor's office, what's the first thing they pull out? Your medical history. Imagine if doctors go, all right, well, ready? What?
I thought you were finna say that processing, that payment process.
Well, if you didn't pay, they go, you know you didn't pay. But they always look at your medical history first. They go, okay, and whenever you go to an office, they'll go, here, fill this out. They'll go, have you have a history of this? Do you smoke? This is all medical history. Mm-hmm. Everything is history. You watch a football game, they'll go, well, last week he was injured, and well, last year they're always talking history, mm-hmm. which leads up to what we're watching. It gives you more of a context to go, oh, God, this guy came from that team, traded. Anytime we talk about shit, they go, remember he was traded, and then you have to have history.
Yeah.
So that's why when they tell black people to forget about the history, it's fucking dumb. You don't want us to move forward. So you want us to just let you keep doing what you do without knowing why the reason is. There's a reason why you keep touching my hair. Oh, back then you were being foolish. There's a reason why you keep calling me a nigga. Oh, because you were being foolish. There's a reason why you think everything belongs to you. Oh, because you was fucking stealing everything. That's it. You have to know history no matter what the fuck aspect it is. Comedy history, gotta know. Gotta know in the 1900s that black comedians couldn't talk to an audience solo. You couldn't do a solo monologue. It was illegal. In the early 1900s in New York and vaudeville, you couldn't talk to a white audience by yourself in a suit. You had to wear blackface. You had to cork yourself up and talk in a duo. You had to be like, well, Lord have mercy. Well, where are you going now? Well, shit, I'll say that. That's why they talk like that. Burt Williams was the first comedian to be filmed ever. He was a light-skinned Caribbean man who wore blackface. He wanted to be Charlie Chaplin, but he wasn't white. He was light-skinned. He even became a Mason in Scotland. You know, they got the Scottish Rite Masons and they got the Prince Hall Masons. Prince Hall is the black Masons. So he had to do that. He had to leave to become a Mason. All kinds of shit. So he always wanted to be a star, but he was black. So he had to be in blackface, and he was an educated man. But he had to be in blackface and talk dumb like Stepin Fetchit, same way. Stepin Fetchit was not a dummy, but he had to make money. Willie Best did the same thing. Mantan Moreland did the same thing. You had Ethel Waters. You had Louise Beavers. All these people had to talk a certain way. They had to be maids, buck their eyes. Hattie McDaniel. You had to do that shit back then. You know, you should know that fucking history. So maybe you can improve. That's why when I see some, and this is what I observe. When I see, like, I had a whole thing about why do you guys are doing jokes in front of white folks and using nigga every fucking 5 minutes. I just,
boy, that irks the hell out of me.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
And I asked, I said, and these are some intelligent motherfuckers I know. There's some nerdy black comics that go nigga in front of white folks. I say to me, this is to me, you don't think you're smart enough. You're afraid to be smart in front of them. You're afraid. So you use nigga to kind of make them feel comfortable, to make them feel a little comfortable. I don't use that word unless I'm talking about the word which is apropos for what I want to say. I say, but you keep saying nigga because you're not Richard Pryor. Pryor was saying that coming from that shit. There was a difference. Even Pryor said, I need to stop saying nigga when I came from, remember Sunset Strip? He goes, I will never call another black man a nigga again. He had to go to Africa and realize it, but he came from that environment. You came from a privileged environment and you're saying nigga because you think that's black comedy. And you're saying it in front of a majority white crowd. I just asked them, I go, well, why do you do that?
Majority racist white crowd.
Yeah, and I say, and
that's the only ones who laugh at that shit.
Right, and I tell them, and I say, because let's be real, nigga is a funny word. It's hilarious, and phonetically, it's hilarious. Like when you say, man, here come this nappy head ass nigga. That shit's funny. Like, oh, here come these niggas. This shit's funny. It's the funniest racial slur. Nigga is the funniest racial slur. You can say spick, that's not that funny. Chink, maybe. Goddamn chinks. These goddamn niggas. It's just, yo, this nigga here. It's hilarious. We made it even funnier.
See, I vehemently disagree with that.
And you should be able to.
I vehemently disagree with that. Like when I hear it, it irks the shit out of me. Like when I even because if I have said it and I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah.
Now when I say it though, I'm using it in a disparaging manner. When you say here come that nigga, that's disgusting to me when I'm saying it like that. You know, I mean, like I'm saying it because this motherfucker disgusts me. You know what I'm saying? So if I use it, I'm using it.
But is it not funny to you?
It's nothing funny about it.
And that's good that you.
You know why it's nothing funny about it? Because I understand the historical context of the word.
I do
and
too.
I know how many people have been murdered, and I know how that word has been used to subjugate people, and I know how that word has been used to destroy people's self-esteem. You know, and you know, I know how it's been used throughout history.
No doubt.
So when I hear it, it immediately evokes trauma.
And
it evokes trauma
and I hope
and
that
negativity.
And as a comedian, I see where the funny is, but I don't use it though. I don't use it because you've never heard me use it. I don't use it. Even if if I'm talking about, I go motherfucker. I'll say, yeah, this motherfucker can be anybody. And I know people who go, oh, that white nigga. I go, that doesn't work. That's a oxymoron. I go, why do you use it? Why are you using it? It seems like a crutch to me. I'm saying it seems, and in front of an all white crowd, it just seems weird. Because are they laughing because they're a little uncomfortable laughing? Are they laughing because the joke is really funny? Why do you say it? And they say, I'm not going to let somebody take away. This is what they say. I'm trying to own it. Yeah. Wait a minute. When they owned you, you know what I'm saying? They called you that. But when someone calls you a nigga, you get mad. When someone is saying it with vitriol, like you fucking nigger, now you're mad. But I thought you were owning it though. Right. Then you shouldn't react when that person really calls you a nigger then.
But if you
that's all I'm saying.
My thing is that if you're gonna take that word and try to make it a term of endearment, why not take the other words too? Like let a motherfucker call you a faggot or a bitch ass nigga and you know, a hoe and any other disparaging word, you know, like all of that should go. You know, like
all of it should go.
Because actually to me, none of those words to me hit harder than the N-word.
No, nothing hits harder than the N-word.
When I was locked up, I'm in the TV room and there's a show on and I made a comment. I said, I was like, look at this nigga. And white dude, Marcelli, he was sitting right next to me and I noticed he was doing like this. He was looking at the TV like this. He said, he was staring up at the TV, and then he looked at me, and he stared back at the TV, and he said, I don't see any black people. And I say, I say that's because a nigger. I say that's because a nigger is not associated with a person. It's so associated with behavior.
No, he said I don't see any black.
But in his mind,
niggas.
You know, in his mind,
when you say nigger, you think black.
That, you only think
But what that because we were called. When you're called that, the word is associated. Then it's a visual association. You understand? Like if you say a government official, when you think of a government official, do you think of a black man or an old white man?
When I think of a
government officials say, I think of old white men when I think of, even though there are black people in government, there are Latino. When I think of a government official, I think of an old white man writing laws, making law. I think of old white men because they've been associated with power so much that the visual is, and when you think of welfare mother, you think of a black woman. You don't think of a white woman, even though white people are on welfare more than we are.
I actually don't.
I think Godfrey, when I used to think welfare mother, I used to be like,
I actually don't.
I would, because visually, I already know that statistically more whites are fucking on welfare. But what they would show on TV.
I know that's the image they want me to.
That's what I mean.
I know that's the image that they want me to have, but that's not the image that I have because I know better.
Right.
Same thing with government official. I just think
because you know better. Like when you think,
Yeah.
I think in my head visually, but I know that there's, you know what I'm saying? I know that because I've been educated on it. But it's like if I think of athlete, boy, he's a damn good athlete. I don't think of a white guy. I think of a black dude.